Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I hope you have had a good week and everything has been going alright. When it comes to War Thunder, we're slowly churning into the next update season. So I thought I would do a video talking about a certain topic that gets brought up a lot. Now, in the previous times, we've talked about this topic a few times. It's the idea of gaining SL and being able to maintain it at a certain level. Now, luckily, when it comes to the last few years in War Thunder, there's been a lot of stuff which has been added to the game to make this a little bit easier. People still struggle with it, though, and I think I pinpointed why. So, in War Thunder, there are simple mechanisms in order to get Silver Lions. The mechanisms, obviously, are playing the game and doing okay or doing well, and that's really about it. But there are things that you can improve or change to be able to get Silver Lions. Now, the people who I've seen who struggle the most when it comes to Silver Lions are the ones who play only ground forces and grind through the tech tree, just playing ground forces, and then also, as they get to the higher echelons or even the mid echelons, they end up running out of SL. So, from at least the way that I've seen it, it seems like ground forces is the issue when it comes to SL, and also grinding through tech trees to try and get to the higher echelons. If you buy a premium vehicle, and then you get the premium time with that vehicle, you will research vehicles pretty quickly. But also, at the same time, what you'll do is you'll annihilate your SL income, which is obviously a bit of a problem when it comes to the game, because you're researching at such a rate, the SL can't keep up with it, and once that premium time runs out, you end up in a hole, because you just can't get enough SL to be able to afford the vehicles that you have. That's one of the traps that happens when it comes to the game. So, with that said, with that being the major way that people are struggling with SL, the best way to combat it is a few separate factors. So the first one is just turning off auto repair. I've talked about this many times. There is a fundamental issue when it comes to auto repair and misunderstanding what auto repair does. So auto repair automatically repairs your vehicles. Weird, right? So you don't have to click a button. But if you leave your vehicles in a state where they need to be repaired, they will get cheaper over time if they're sat in your lineups. This includes if you are not playing the game. This includes if you're going to the toilet or going to food or whatever it is. So even if you leave something for 2 minutes, let's say, you're talking to somebody or you're waiting for something, or if you've gone to bed or if you've gone to work or if you're looking after the kids or whatever it is, the repairs get cheaper. It's as simple as that. So the amount of people who have automatic repair on is an issue, and everybody should turn it off. There is no reason to have automatic repair on, apart from if you always like playing squads and you die a lot, so you have to click the buttons multiple times. You don't have to individually repair vehicles when you're going to battle. All you have to do is hit the to battle button, and then it will say, do you want to repair your vehicles? You say yes. So it's just one extra click, or one extra hit of the enter button, or whatever button that you use. So that will already save you a ton of SL without you even doing anything. Literally just clicking 2 buttons in the game will do that. And then the other one is, I suppose you'd class it as variety or diversity. One of the ways of making sure that you get a bunch of SL in general, or get a good bank, is instead of just playing a singular nation and trying to push through the tech tree, playing multiple nations, even in different game modes, to be able to get an SL bank behind you. The simple thing is, at the lower echelons of the game, it is easier to make SL. Whether it is because the opponents are easier, or because of the fact that there are more actions, and also things are just generally cheaper. So up to a period of maybe rank 4 or rank 5, if you don't have premium account, then it's much easier to make SL than above that. Now, I'd always recommend buying premium account if it's the one purchase that you make when it comes to War Thunder, It's 50% off like 3 times a year now. It's $40. It hasn't changed price, I think, since the game started, or at least not massively. So that's less than, $4 a month when you think about it, or at least in my area, it's about 4 hours of work at minimum wage, because $15 CAD is minimum wage nowadays. So that's, $60? And you just have to do that for a whole year. So you can see how, it's not crazy expensive compared to some other things. But the main thing, at least what I was getting to, is at the lower echelon, it's easier to make or sell. And also, one of the things that's key when it comes to War Thunder is, of course, the events that go on. Whether it's the Build-A-Bear events, whether it's the winter or summer quest events, whether it's the Pages of History events, or just the weekly events, there's a ton of these different things going on. And one of the things that is key to those events is usually being at rank 3. So getting all of your nations up to rank 3, whether it's in aviation or ground or naval or whatever you play, basically means that you now have, first of all, more experience with the game. You have more experience against the opponents that you generally fight. You get more variety when it comes to the game. And also, you get more of a kicker at the end, because it means that you can use lineups which will be more pertinent for the events, and it will make them easier to do, which is incredibly important. You also might find some vehicles that you enjoy a bit more than the ones that you've been playing. The cardinal sin, in my opinion, when it comes to War Thunder, is trying to reach for that one specific vehicle in the game, trying to focus all attention on pushing forward and getting that one vehicle, because what'll end up doing there is, once you get that vehicle, you won't be satisfied, because you've been going through all of these other vehicles that you have had absolutely no interest in. It's just not going to make you feel good. It's just going to make you kind of like, oh, well, what do I do now? War Thunder in general is set up so you play multiple things and you try multiple things, and that just makes doing events or doing the battle pass or doing pretty much anything else just way easier. So it's much better to focus on that. The other thing is, as I said, Pages of History. Pages of History events rely on you having multiple tech trees ground out, whether it's just to like the mid tiers or whether it's to the high tiers. And every time you complete one of these events, you end up getting a booster. And you either get a booster, you get a camo, or you can even get, I think, still a day of premium time. So at the end of the day, the worst thing you're going to get is either some SL, or you're going to get a booster, which you can use in future battles. And that means that it's easier for you to get RP, or it's easier for you to get SL, and everything is just more simple. Like, I don't know how else to put it. And the simple thing at the end of the day is, in order to make SL, you just have to not focus on that one big thing at the top of a tech tree and just change mindset on how you approach the game. You need to play multiple game modes, you need to try multiple tech trees, and you need to focus on stuff such as dailies and specials and the mini events. And even the major events, instead of, that high echelon top grind. Everything I always hear from people who focus on that top grind is the simple fact that it isn't worth it once they get to the end of it. Now, for me, when it comes to top tier stuff, I have a slightly different opinion from many. A lot of people think it's bad, it's awful, blah, blah, blah. And it is definitely a different playstyle. If you're not used to it, then or you might not like it, you might prefer mid-tier playstyles and stuff, and especially with the addition of drones, which I think was a horrible decision, and also a lot of the top-tier gas, it can be an absolute awful experience, but at the same time, it is, at the end of the day, just a different setup of experiences that different people want. But since, you're playing the mid-tier stuff, since, you're usually in there when you start losing SL, why not try and prolong that period of time and also play a bunch of different stuff? At the end of the day as well, if you spade vehicles, so spading is fully modifying a vehicle, so getting all of its modifications, you get bonuses with that vehicle in terms of research for the next vehicle that you are researching. So, because every time you do a row of the modifications, you get a little bit of a bonus. This is basically how I've been researching stuff for the longest time, and it's why I have pretty much all the vehicles in the game ground out. I don't really use that many premiums, unless it's for events and stuff like that, and it calls for them. Generally, I just spade tech tree vehicles. That's all I really do. And doing that means that you don't just get more SL, you also get more experience, which means that you become better at the game. And also what it means is you actually get more research points because you get the bonuses. So overall, it's just really nice. The other thing is you just got to increase your variety. Like, I know a lot of people just want to play tanks. Maybe it might be worth trying some different things. Naval, as a game mode, especially at the early echelons, you can make a ridiculous amount of SL without even thinking. Me, when I play rank 2s and rank 3 destroyers, I can easily clear 1 million SL without even thinking in maybe half a day, just by playing and shooting things and spading, those types of vehicles. And I have a bunch of them to play, soon, because they added a bunch of them. So I'm going to play them, and I'm just going to be sat there like, wow, I've just randomly got 500,000 SL from this stuff. And it's kind of nuts at the end of the day. Aviation is another place where you can make a lot of SL, especially if played properly, and not trying to game the system or anything like that, just playing as you would do, generally, with your planes. Even if you trade 1-for-1 with most vehicles, you will get yourself a lot of SL from that. And I feel like people don't, understand that. Like, the ground vehicles, especially rank 5 and up for a non-premium player, and probably rank 6 and up for a premium player, are SL sinks. It is the only area of the game where I do not make a very positive amount of SL. I make a neutral amount when it comes to it. So everything that I earn when it comes to those tiers goes back into repair costs and back into vehicles purchased. That's how it goes. So it is obviously an SL drain at that point. Everywhere else in the game, you can easily make SL. So why not maximize those areas if you are having issues with it at that echelon? So maybe a plan for a week would look something like this. Okay, so let's say I play War Thunder for 4 days, or maybe I play War Thunder for 5 days and a couple of hours at a time. So how about for one of the days, I play the top tier stuff that I want to give a go at, and then the next day, maybe I give Naval a go, the next day, maybe I give a new tech tree a go, and then the next day, maybe I focus on dailies, or maybe I focus on whatever events are on the weekend, and then you just keep rotating those things. So give yourself a little bit more variety, give yourself something that's a little bit different, and if you find you don't like stuff, that you've tried, then just don't do it again, and try something else. The thing about War Thunder is there's just so much going on. There's so many different areas, whether it's the PvE modes, whether it's naval, whether it's helicopters, whether it's general airplanes or ground, or even EC modes, the general events, the tournaments that they do every week, by the way. So if you're interested in tournaments, you can go to the website and you can see them all and get involved in them. They can give you boosters and SL sometimes, and decals and premium accounts and all of these things, and even GE. There's that as well. So there's all these different factors. Why not give them a go? Why not instead of pigeonholing yourself into this one place, which is making you frustrated or makes you feel like you're not doing enough, spread the wings. It makes so much more sense, at least to me, when it comes to this stuff. But, it's how I've played the game for many years. I'm sat here basically on like 90 million SL, while also purchasing everything that I researched straight away. So if I saved for like sales, or if I saved for whatever, I'd have a hell of a lot more SL. But because I don't have to worry about it, and because during like literally the last month and a half, because of the summer events and because of playing the Pages of History events and so on, I've made probably about 20 million SL. Like, that areas don't matter to me, really. And so, yeah, I hope this has been helpful. You don't have to spend any money when it comes to War Thunder to be able to make SL. You don't have to buy premium. you've got the events if you want to get Gaijin coin and then, get premium, but you don't need it. You just need a fundamental shift in what you're trying to get out of the game. As always, though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Forge, Siegebreak, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, and also Sem Arslan, Wilkski, Uncle Bean, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.